look, that's a nice shirt. Is that Ralph Lauren? Oh, my word, someone's got money. What's your name, sir? Hello, Richard, I'm Joe. It's me. What do you do, Richard?
A scientist.
A scientist in my audience. Oh, my word. Normally thick as shit, Richard says. No, what a treat. What sort of science do you do?
I make dermatological...
Drug dealer?
Yeah.
Dermatological things for skin, that is. I know words. So, I've got a bit of a rash, actually. So I've been using Umovate. Is that not good?
You should use semen.
I should use semen. What do you think you were coming to? Oh, you're coming to it? Come on, have some respect. It's my DVD. Jesus. I should jizz on my feet, that's what you're saying. My mum and dad in. Mum and dad are in, and I've got to jizz on my feet now. What a finale that would be to the show. Can you imagine? It was very funny. And then he just jizzed on his feet. It was really... And because he was like under pressure, it took him ages to get it out, but it's like, really... So are you a homosexual?
I'm not.
You're not?
No.
Oh, somebody laughing at that. Somebody. Disbelief. Have you got a girlfriend?
No.
No? You're looking?
Yeah.
I don't believe you. You say yes, but so who are you here with? This gentleman here. Hello there, what's your name?
I'm Chris.
Hello, Chris. How do you know each other?
Went to college together.
Yeah.
You gave the answer and then you went, yes, I'll look at it. As if to say, this isn't a grinder date, but it is. Okay, went to college together, okay. And are you a scientist as well?
I'm not, no.
You're not, no. Oh, you seem disappointed. What do you do?
I do digital marketing.
Digital marketing. Oh, dear. I really expected better, really, on the front. No, look, so nice to meet you both. Thank you for coming along. I hope you enjoy the show. Have a lovely life. Bye-bye. My mother, a great worrier, my mother. She's got worse as she's got older as well. She bought me a first aid kit for the car. I do mainly motorway driving. Not sure how useful a first aid kit's going to come in a smash on the M6. I'm going to ring 999 and go, well, my condition is my legs are crushed to bits and I've got a bit of metal sticking out of my abdomen and according to this thermometer, is slightly higher than normal temperature. No, don't send the fire brigade to cut me out. I've got these tiny little scissors. She's also on social media as well. She searches my name to see what I'm up to when I'm away from home. She's not going to be pleased with Tracy's beaver, I can tell you that for a fact. She started replying to my tweets, and I try like jokes and one-liners on Twitter. I did one as an example. It was, did you know it takes 36 muscles to smile, but only one muscular guy in the gym to give me a boner? It's a silly throwaway joke, nothing to worry about. She replied, no, I didn't know that. Thanks, son. There's a gin parlour in Birmingham now. I went into the gin parlour, I ordered a gin and tonic. I thought that was appropriate. Very quirky guy behind the bar. Tattoos, piercings, beard. He was like, we have 200 different types of gin. Is there a type of gin that you've had before? So, yeah, I think it was Asda Price. I think it was. Didn't have it, so not that exclusive. Had a vodka Diet Coke in the end. And I got chatting to this guy who was very thin and very pallid. He looked like someone had dressed up a mini milk. He didn't look right. And he was chatting at me, mile a minute, for about half an hour. And then after about half an hour, he went, oh, I've lost my Coke. And I think because I was drinking a Diet Coke and I was a bit drunk, in the moment, I thought he meant Coca-Cola. So I was like, well, where'd you have it last? He's like, in the toilet. I was like, there's no flat surfaces in there. You must have left it on the floor or something. He's like, no, I've lost my Coke. I was like, well, I'll get you some Coke. Still thinking he meant Coca-Cola. He's like, what, do you know a dealer? I was like, don't see how that's relevant. I mean, I know an art dealer I could call in the morning, but that seems very off-topic. I was like, I'll get you some Coke. So I started walking to the bar and then realised on the way to the bar what he actually meant. I'm now on a drugs run for some stranger. I don't take drugs. I've no idea how you procure drugs. I know you can order them online now, which I find absolutely hysterical as an idea, that they can go, sorry you were out. We left 50 kilograms of smack with your neighbour. Did my cocaine arrive? No, but Saj is really mowing that fucking lawn. In my local post office, there's a woman there. She's been there about 20 years. I don't like her. She's smug, is the word. One of those faces that's so smug it sort of folds into itself. Do you know what I mean? Like, She looks like someone's punched a quiche. And she's called Lorraine. No, you're better than that. And she's always got some quip, some line. I went in with my passport form, and they do a check and send service at the post office, and she licked her finger and she went through it. And she went, your referee has spelt neighbour wrong. And I went, what? She's like, it's missed out the H on neighbour. You'll have to fill it in again. I was like, surely that's all right. And she went, no, there can be no risk of any confusion as to what that word means. You'll have to fill it in again. Pushed it back at me. I thought, I'm not having this. It takes ages to fill out that form. You have to send off for it. You have to get a referee. I thought, I'm not having it. So I thought, I'll be a bit weird with her. So I went, oh, no, sorry. He's not my neighbour. He's my doctor. She went, what? I said, he's misspelled doctor. So doctor's obviously spelled D-O-C-T-O-R. But he spelled it N-E-I-G-B-O-U-R. He spelled doctor wrong. And she went, no, that clearly says neighbour. Oh, does it? We've got now, as well, we've got a 24-hour Starbucks in Birmingham. Nobody asked for one. We've got one. The staff at 4 a.m., genetically closer to a moth. I went in at 4 a.m. It's only the once. I came back late from a show. I thought, I'll treat myself. I'll have a hot chocolate. Guy behind the counter obviously couldn't cope with daylight or anything. He was like, can I take a name? And I said, yeah, it's Joe. Can I ask why? He went, just in case the order gets confused. Looked around an empty Starbucks. I shuffled along to the service counter. It took him ages to make it. And then he went, hot chocolate for John. So to make a point, I just waited. Well, John will be here in a minute, won't he? Oh, he loves a hot chocolate, our John. I suppose what it's gentrification, isn't it? It's happening everywhere. I don't mind it really, because it's nice to have nice places to go out and whatever. I think my issue with it is that it jumped up at me, because I didn't go out for a while, because I was writing a sitcom about gay pirates. But I only got 2 lines of dialogue, which is one of the characters goes, where's the treasure? And then somebody else goes, you're a treasure? That's what I got. Something in it. I now need to get up with a level of dignity. Your dress is lovely. Where's that from? Tesco? Is there anyone rich in anywhere? From Tesco? That's nice though, from Tesco. Lovely. Wearing flip-flops, so everything going well for you? Clearly? Right, hang on, how am I going to do this now? I could do a yoga DVD, couldn't I? And this is the lying down. And that's the end. That's my kind of yoga. Did you like my kick? So, I pulled my back out when I did it, so worth it though. Oh gosh, lovely. I've got so many side projects, and none of them are useful in any way. There's a clairvoyant that's based in Birmingham who fans. I don't know if there's fans of clairvoyance in. She has this flyer that she's been putting around old man pubs, and you know I love an old man pub, and she's advertising for her work. But one of the things on the flyer is that it says free first reading over SMS text message. You know what I'm like. So I'll read to you what I sent to her. Hang on, I'll have to change the name. Hello, Rebecca. There we go. Hello, Rebecca. I'm trying to contact someone. Can you help? That's what I sent her. She said, yes. First reading is free. What is your name and who are you trying to contact? I said, my name is Joe, and I'm trying to contact my mother, Helen, who is alive and well. She said, do you have anything of hers to hand? I said, yes, I have a scarf. She said, OK, hold the scarf in your hand. Text me the first 3 words that come to mind. It can be anything. Don't try and edit yourself. So I did casserole, Ford Focus, abusive. She said, OK, I'm getting something. There's something to do with glasses. It could be a pair of glasses, something made of glass. I said, yes, that makes sense. She said, she's got a problem with the glasses. Is there anything that might link to? I said, she wears glasses. She said, she's saying she's sorry. I said, OK, what about? She said, she's just saying there's so much, sorry about the mess. I said, OK, that's fine. Does she say where she is? She says, I'm not sure, but she's happy where she is. She's smiling. I said, oh, well, that's good for her. Does she know when she's going to be back? She says she'll see you soon. She'll make it up to you about the glass. I said, oh, I see. She's saying for me to smash the glass. She's like, I'm not sure. I've lost contact. I said, OK, I'm going to smash the glass. She said, what glass? I don't think she wants you to put yourself in danger. I said, well, I'm outside the house without my keys. I'm going to have to get in somehow. Then she put 3 question marks to that. And then I put, oh, she just got back, it's okay. She just got back, question mark. Is she even in the spirit world? I said, what? No, of course not. She went to the garden centre. Please don't contact me again. I said, okay, sure. Everything you said was true, though. She was happy. She loves the garden centre. Thanks again, guys.
If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know I love my gardening. I'm always posting about it. And it's always sort of needlessly offensive posts, just this sort of thing. I just call them all slags. Big titted slags. This is a squash, looks like an upside-down chode with a baggy foreskin. I know what that looks like because I've met your dad. Just needlessly offensive posts. And as a result of these posts, I was asked to do an interview with Gardener's World magazine. The most gentle Middle England publication you could ever hope to find. And I did this lovely interview with them, and they said afterwards, they said, oh, we need a high-resolution picture of you in the garden for the magazine. And I said, well, I don't have one. And they said, can you get one? I was like, it's locked down, I live on my own. But I got this camera, and I set it up on a little timer, and I got this picture, which I think is quite sweet, really. It's quite, I know, bless, I know, it's lovely. And they said, oh, it's lovely. Who took the photo? For a laugh, I said it was Lisa Scott-Lee from Steps. I don't know why I chose Lisa Scott-Lee. I'm sat on some steps, maybe it was subconscious, I don't know. Magazine comes out, they printed her in the magazine. She lives in Dubai. And now, whenever she posts to Instagram, this is her saying Steps got to #1 in the charts, she credited me as the photographer. And we could play this together, boys and girls. Shout out, what do we think B is for, boys and girls? Balls. Well done, it is balls. It gets trickier. What do we think C is for? CBT, lovely thought. No, it's not, but there's no wrong answers here. Anyone else? Cock cage. Cock cage? It's not cock cage, but it could be a cock cage. Yeah, no, I'll give it to you. It's cupping another bloke's balls. That's what it is. What do we think D's for, boys and girls? Dark room. There's some queers in. There we go. Some of you might need to Google that is later. Some confused straight people looking at me there. What's a dark room? Just go to it. There's a place called Bolts that I'd recommend. Anyway, E is quite tricky. What do you think E's for, boys and girls? No, that's a nice thought there, Ellen. A nice thought. Lovely. Emo. Easy access. It is easy access. Well done. Well done. Very good. Said so confidently. Dad, is that you? In Newcastle, somebody said, is it E? That hurts. It should be. It should be. I got it wrong. You're all going to get this one. Last one, boys and girls. After 3, what do we think F is for? 1, 2, 3. Fisting? It's fighting homophobia, actually. Fisting. A nice Facebook group, the King's Heath Neighbourhood Watch group. I'm sure you've got one in your local area. I'm sure yours is as batshit as ours. This is a sample post. There's a serial pooper who keeps going on Heathfield Road. Definitely human, and from the looks of it, likely the same person. Definitely human, likely the same person. What empirical data are we using for this, please? Oh, that's Martin again. We're very funny people. This wasn't a funny post, but they said the King's Heath Pet Centre was robbed last night. They broke in and stole a bunch of stock and money from the till. Horrible. First comment on this, any leads? It's so efficient, it's beautiful. I'll never write a better joke in my life. It's a nice place to live, King's Heath, nice place. Something made me love it a little less. About 4 years ago, I got in a cab, got into an Uber. And he was the lovely driver. The driver said to me, just started with Uber. I said, how are you finding it? And he said, oh, it's wonderful. I'd lost all my confidence. And now I can put food on the table for the kids and I feel so much better about myself. And I said, how do you feel about King's Heath? Because he lives there as well. And he said, oh, it's a lovely place to live, isn't it? But, you know, we do have our problems. You know, in schools, they're teaching kids it's okay to be gay. I was like, ah, shit. Unfortunately, I've had to deal with quite a lot of homophobia recently. I've discovered that someone in my family is homophobic, which is really disappointing, I suppose is the word, because that's not who we are as a family. We're not homophobic. We're racists! I won't tell you which family member it is. I'll just tell you I've got 3 aunties. I've got Auntie Susan, Auntie Deborah, and Auntie Gay Marriage. And she's a born born-again Christian, which is fine, I don't mind, be religious, whatever, but born again is the gayest of the religions she could have chosen. It's so ostentatious. I'm born again, it's so over the top. Literally means you came to it in later life, that's all it means. By that definition, I'm born again anal beads. So I'm in the back of this Uber and he's saying, they're teaching kids it's okay to be gay in schools. And I said, oh, it's a shame you say that because I'm bisexual and that affects me. And he went, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't want to offend anyone, I don't want to upset anyone. It's just, in my religion, the anus isn't meant for sex. And I said, well, have you ever had oral sex? And he went, yeah. And I said, well, the mouth's not really meant for sex, is it? And he went, oh. And I said, I'll see you in hell. He laughed. We laughed all the way through the journey. At one point, he said, you're really funny. Are you on Facebook? I was like, darling, I'm a huge fucking deal. But nobody, shouted. No one was aggressive. No one was violent. We just had an adult conversation about it. I got out the cab, reported him to Uber, and he lost his job. It's a nice story. It's a nice story. I think as a Birmingham gay myself, when did King's Heath become Brum's newest gay quarter? Did this happen overnight? Correct. That's exactly what happened. Well done. I had been seeding it into the gay community because I'd set up a fake Grindr account called Sugar Daddy, which was it's like a dating app like Tinder but for gay people. And I just seeded it into conversations, get it in their subconscious, this sort of thing. He started. He said, "Where are you based?" I said, "King's Heath. It's a gay village now." I was giving him the idea. He said, "Sure. You into piss play?" It's 11:39 a.m., darling, but you do you. Nobody spotted that Sugar Daddy is Alan Sugar, though, so that's good, isn't it? That's good. I think some of the resistance was because we do have a gay village in Birmingham. It's called the Gay Village. It's in the centre of town. And I went out there not long after all this had started, and I went to a place called Sequin Showstoppers, where they sell drag clothes. I was trying on some bits. It was a day-drinking day, you can tell from my eyes. Hello, darkness, my old friend. And after I'd left Sequin Showstoppers, went for a few pints and ended up at a house party with about a dozen gay guys, and they were all talking about it. And I was so drunk, I didn't want to give anything away. And this one guy started, and he was like, "Have you seen that King's Heath's a gay village now?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "It's probably just like one bloke who set up a website." And I was like, "Yeah, probably." And a limited company and a bank account, actually. It was quite complicated, actually. It was quite involved, actually. And then this other guy popped up out of nowhere, and he was so cross about it. He was like, "I'm sorry, King's Heath is not a gay village. In no world is King's Heath a gay village. We have a gay village in town. It's called the Gay Village. They have a pride march there every year." And I was like, "Oh, right, is that what you have to do to be a gay village? You have a pride march?" And he went, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh." I should tell you some things before I get on with the show. The first thing that's really important, because this has been a bit of a confusing issue, I am not James Acaster. That's James Acaster. I've got to be very clear about this, because he's a brilliant comedian, he's a great friend of mine, but he said that people keep shouting my name at him in the street. We don't look similar, do we? I don't think we look similar at all. Anyway, my agent said we need to do some posters to promote the tour. Have you got any ideas? I'd been drinking, this is what I came up with. I was furious because sales shot up. Got me into all sorts of legal headaches. I had to do a public apology. I said, I'll never again use James Acaster's image without his prior approval. I've agreed to not play Kettering on the tour. That's where he's from. And I said, within the apology post, I will publish the correct tour poster, which is attached, and then I attached the correct one. So I'm being silly. That's Claire Boulding, another lesbian. Don't worry. It's absolutely fine. That was the correct tour poster. That's the correct one. Well, actually, technically, that's the correct one, but... Yes, lockdown got in the way of doing stand-up. I was meant to do this tour a lot sooner. And I had my jab. This is me having my jab. And the nurse said, "Oh, do take a photo and put it on Instagram. We're trying to promote the vaccine." She hadn't considered I might put a caption with it. I just wanted a Tuesday afternoon strippogram, and now I'm hooked on meth. And then underneath, this post was sponsored by Microsoft, Shoezone and Screwfix. All the anti-vaxxers are out in force. Someone called me a foot soldier of tyranny. I love that. That's going on the posters next year. Someone else said, "Idiot, I bet he was paid thousands for this and didn't even take the vaccine." You got me there. Shoezone did pay me thousands. Fair play. I get it. It was scary to have the vaccine. A friend of mine was absolutely terrified. She had it, and then afterwards she said, "I don't want to think about it. I just want to get drunk." And we had 3 bottles between us. And the next morning she rang me and she went, "Joe, I've had a terrible reaction to the vaccine." I was like, "It might be the gavi-de-gavi, darling." I said, "What are your symptoms?" She went, "Oh, I've got a terrible headache. And weirdly, a brand new tattoo." That's the vaccine. I've got this neighbour who's very handsome. He lives a few doors down from me. He's called George, and I never know what he's up to. He's always doing weird stuff, because he rang me the once and he said, "Have you got a flat-headed screwdriver?" And I looked and I said, "I haven't got one, sorry." And he went, "Never mind. Any hummus?" What are you having? I don't know what you're doing. And I got COVID on the 1st of January this year, and he rang me on the 5th, and he said, "Are you all right, Joe? I've not seen you come out of your house." And I said, "I'm absolutely fine, George. I've got COVID, but I'm isolating. I've got no symptoms. I'm absolutely fine." And I said, "How are you?" And he went, "Oh, nightmare. I was meant to go to France, but they've closed the borders, and the insurance doesn't pay out if they close the borders, only pay out if I get COVID." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, George." And he went, "Can I come round?" I was like, a hot guy wants to come round to get an infectious disease off me to fuck off an insurance company. I've had dreams about this shit. And I thought about it, and I thought, fuck it. So I invited him round, we had a few beers, had a lovely time. He left, he got a positive PCR test, but he's an anti-vaxxer and he died. So... R.I.P. George. Little twist in that one. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Oh, it's all good fun, isn't it? It's all good fun.
There's a lot of sandwiches, aren't there, little fella? That's my impression of Peston. He said, smiling down at me. He was stood next to and clearly angling for a prawn sandwich. I clung to my mother's leg, saying nothing. "Oh, yes, there are a lot of sandwiches. You like sandwiches, don't you?" she said, encouraging me to engage. Yet I sensed from subtle movements in her leg that she too was brimming with fear. I nodded, that's all I had. Words had become as elusive to me as the meaning of the universe, or the reason that Eamon Holmes does what he does. "And what sort of sandwiches do you like, chap?" Peston was trying his best. "Chicken?" I shook my head. "Oh, OK. Cheese ploughmans?" I shook it again. He had only one option left. Prawn? I didn't even really like prawns, but in that moment the sound of the word was almost soothing. I nodded enthusiastically. Robert let out a deep sound resembling an O, but it was more abstract than that. "Well, that is a surprise. I didn't think you liked prawns," said Mother, effortlessly transforming from caregiver to snitch. "Gosh, OK, well, that does put us in quite a quandary, because I too was hoping for a prawn sandwich, and I don't know if you've noticed, but there's only one prawn sandwich left." He literally had his hand on the fucking thing. My eyes darted round the fridge like darts in a fridge. The bastard was right, only one prawn sandwich, Peston's fingers already caressing the waxy cardboard box. "I'm sure you can have a different sandwich, little Joe. You like cheese, don't you?" My mother had now assumed the role of his chief negotiator. The woman had thrown me under the bus. Brackets, this is a turn of phrase, and for legal reasons I should clarify my mother has never once thrown me under a bus, but did once try and push me into a canal. "Oh, I can go and find somewhere else to get one," Peston said, unconvincingly. The saliva was practically dripping out of the guy's mouth for that prawn sandwich. "Don't be silly. Joe doesn't even really like prawns. You take it honestly," said the scab, my mother. "Cheers, little fella," he said as he floated away gleefully holding what I will forever consider to be my prawn sandwich. The rest of the trip to London was completely ruined. I refused any other sort of sandwich, and Mum started ignoring me, which I later learned is a parenting technique. She's since tried to convince me that pushing me into a canal is a parenting technique, but I'm yet to have that backed up with empirical data. I refused to participate in all the auditions, never got my chance to play ensemble in Oliver, or ensemble in Billy Elliot, or Annie in Annie, and what's more, I'd become undeniably obsessed with prawns. On one day alone, I estimate I ate approximately 300 prawns. This is all true. This is a very sad story for me. I began to throw them back like roasted nuts. They don't tell you on the packaging because they presume you're only going to have a few, but eating 300 prawns is really bad for you. I began to take time out of school, missing out on further sporting and academic opportunities, and my friendship group dwindled to one lad called Andy. Brackets, his dad was a fishmonger. My parents remortgaged the house to fund my addiction and eventually became financially destitute, until my father decided to buy some shares in the hope they might pull us out of the hole that we were in, and so he picked up a copy of the Financial Times. The details are blurry, but Mum spotted Peston's picture in the paper and put two and two together, and in their desperation my parents decided to sue, using the company who had the television adverts where the woman with the vile fringe slips over at work and it isn't her fault. She has no one but herself to blame for the fringe. To this day, not a penny has been clawed back. Peston's team have put most of their eggs in the basket of Mum saying that I didn't like prawn sandwiches, but annoyingly, if we don't win the case, we have to pay our legal fees and Peston's as well, so I believe the plan is to keep appealing until he dies. To recoup some of the fees, I did this painting of Peston in jail where he belongs, for scuppering my chances of childhood stardom. The painting was purchased for £8 million by Steph McGovern. All true. A few years after that first encounter with Peston, whilst walking along one of Birmingham's canals, Mum asked me what I wanted for lunch, and I said prawns. And in what she later described to the social services as an unfortunate, ill-tempered moment, pushed me into the water saying, "See if you can find any in there, you little twat." It's the Peston chapter. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This is my art hole, 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 this is my art hole.
The day Great Aunt Shirley died is seared in my memory forever. A black and hopeless day, the only light in that endless gutter of grief was the Premier League footballer Jack Grealish. My Great Aunt Shirley was like a mother to me, nurturing and stoic, but also like a father because she was obsessed with golf and left shits in the bowl the size of a small dog. She had been in Birmingham's QE hospital for 8 days, in and out of consciousness, when the doctor, rushed and forlorn, told us she was nearing the end of her life. The words were incomprehensible, because he was, as many staff are at the QE, on cocaine. Laughter of recognition in the room. The sadness was soon dispersed by audible excitement outside in the wider ward, the sounds of tittering, doctors scrambling for their phones, and patients climbing from their deathbeds. "OMG!" came one voice. "Look, Sandra, it's Jack Grealish!" Grealish was there on a visit to see some sick children and show them footballs and how nice he looked in his kit. He was stopping and taking photographs with whoever asked, charming, handsome, thoughtful, and dare I say it, pretty fit. I knew I had to seize the opportunity, even for the briefest of moments, for her to meet Jack Grealish. I stepped out into the ward and approached tentatively. "Jack," I said, "my Great Aunt Shirley is dying. You are her favourite footballer. Might you sit with us for a while?" "It would be my great honour," he replied, bowing his head all the way to the floor. I asked if he was being sarcastic, to which he said probably September, and we entered. This is a very sad story, actually. Cousin Liz was quickly removed to make space for Grealish because, like the rest of the family, Aunt Shirley thought Liz was a loser. "Go and get a coffee, and while you're there, maybe see if you can get a life," said Uncle Tim, handing her a £5 and his Costa Coffee Club loyalty card. "If you don't get a stamp, don't come back." "Great Aunt Shirley," I whispered, "it's your favourite football player, Jack Grealish." She stirred, opened her eyes, and began to cry. "My favourite footballer is Frank Lampard," she said. Far from hurt, Jack sat beside her, took hold of her hand and leant in to speak. "I'm sorry I'm not Frank Lampard. If there was any way I could become Frank Lampard, to still your pain and soothe your soul, please know, Shirley, that I would do it for you." She smiled. "You are a kind boy," she said, and dropped a tab of acid that had been given to her by the hospital caretaker. That would have been a better line if I hadn't had a stroke while I was saying it. There, sweet Shirley," he said, taking her hand and softly rubbing the back of it with his thumb. "I know you are frightened, but let us not dwell on graves and grief. Death is not to be feared. You reach your hand out into the abyss, and what do you feel? There is nothing to feel but love. Wherever, whatever next, it will not and cannot be without love. Remember, my dear Shirley, the words of Dylan Thomas. Though lovers be lost, love shall not." Shirley's mouth had begun to curl into a contented smile, from his words, but also probably because of the tab of acid. "Thank you, Jack Grealish," he whispered. "Thank you for everything." "Don't thank me. I've told you nothing you did not already know yourself," he purred. "Are you comfortable? Do you need anything?" "I am hungry. Might you get me a raw onion?" she said. Astonishingly, Jack produced one from his pocket, which he began to eat like an apple. "There is one other thing you can help with," she said, raising a finger. "My nephew, the irritating, effeminate one." She was pointing at me. "His hot point fridge is just not cooling properly. A real man would be able to fix it, but he is a limp-wristed arse bandit with no applicable skills." This is a very sad story, actually. "Might you be able to restore it?" "Interesting," said Grealish, stroking his chin. "Is it a faulty thermostat or dirty condenser coils?" "Neither," I said. "I will have it working by morning," he said. Hearing those words, calmly and peacefully, Great Aunt Shirley finished her onion and slipped away, brackets died. Jack stayed with us, silent, unless spoken to, fixing my hot point fridge in white, which I had brought to the bedside. We said our goodbyes to Shirley's brittle body, and once I'd kissed her on her cold and sunken forehead, Jack took hold of the back of my head with his palms and looked into my eyes. Joe, I've fixed your hot point fridge in white. The refrigerant was leaking because of a faulty valve, he said. When a mountain appears unassailable, you will find a way. Remember that grief is the price of love, and the price of the replacement valve will be £65 plus VAT. Shirley's life, your life, the life of a hot point fridge in white, even my life, they are all transient. But so is sorrow. It will pass. All of us are destined to return home one day, to see out the rest of the seasons, listen closely to the morning dew, smell faint winds of rice and wine, take earth and ash in our fists, sip in the light of the moon. Do not despair, dear Joe. Your legacy will live on, my child, through your friends and family, but probably not through your artworks, which are undeniably shit. And with that, he slipped away, brackets left quietly. As he walked out, I heard him say to one of his minders, let's get out of this shithole, it smells like a fucking human abattoir. Thank you very much.
Your top, where's that from? You've no idea. You've stolen a top. What's your name? Zara. Zara, hello Zara. Is there any chance that it's from Zara? What do you think of this top?
I like it.
Do you like it? What do we think? Right, because, so I don't normally wear this, apparently, because we're filming it. The shirt that I normally wear is a bit much, but I put it here. Apparently this is a bit much. I mean, look at this. I wanted to wear that. I couldn't work out if it looked like I'd sort of collapsed at a marathon, do you know what I mean? Julian Clary had fucked a Ferrero Rocher, and here we are. Mike Blair, where are you? Pickle 246. Where is he? Right at the back. Quite right. Let's have a look at your profile. 22 years old, Arsenal. You're an Arsenal fan. Hey! Hey! Do you watch the game, geezer? Great squad, wasn't it? Great squad. Lovely squad. Was there a game today? I don't know. I have no idea. You like tennis, food and travelling. Lovely. Mike sent in Benedict Cumminhurst snatch. So that's great bit of lad banter that movie. Did you get a nice shot of him? Lovely, thanks Leon. You're a bloody lifesaver. You can't catch me. He's good, isn't he? You don't have to say anything. Just nod if or shake your head. Do you run? Are you a runner? Not really. So if I ran away. Are you a fighter? I'll kill you dead. Oh, he's frightened now. God, I've never felt more masculine. I've got a weapon as well. I thought I was going to do it then. No, I like you, Leon. You've got a good spirit. Met one of my friend's kids last year. Friend I went to university with, her daughter. I avoided this child for 4 years. She's 4 years old. I'd heard bad things. Met her last year. She's the worst person I've ever met. And I've met Eamon Holmes. I won't use her real name. That would be unfair. Let's call her Mugabe. And she was very... spoiled, really. We were sat at dinner and she was here and she was kicking me in the legs. And at one point she caught my shin and I went, fuck. She started crying. The mum said, please don't swear in front of my child. I was like, oh, is that your child? I thought someone just condensed North Korea into a small woman, actually. Little bitch. But I've got a goddaughter who I adore. She is 11. I think she might be a genius because she loves painting. And I've got this office in Birmingham. So I took her to the office to do some painting. And we painted this mural on the wall. And while we were painting it, I said to her, I said, what do you think art is? Just out of curiosity. And she thought about it and she said, well, it's trust. And I said, what do you mean by that? And she went, well, if you trust something's good, then it is. I was like, fucking hell, that's the most profound thing anyone's ever said to me from an 11-year-old. Like, have another go on the bong, what are you going to say next? When the meow meow came out, the thing she was saying, extraordinary. So yes, I'm trying to be healthier. I love a full fat Coke and I'm on Diet Cokes now and I'm struggling with it really. Funnily enough, I was at a university reunion, I was drinking a Diet Coke, and I went up to a girl who I didn't know that well at university, and I was holding this Diet Coke, and I said to her, I said, oh, hello, how are you? What are you up to now? And she went, I hate that. I hate small talk. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how conversation works with you now, then. How did the death of your father affect your sex life? Just straight on in. She said, you shouldn't be drinking that. And I said, why? Now, what I think she meant to say was, it's full of aspartame. What she actually said was, you shouldn't be drinking that. It's full of apartheid. I knew it was bad, didn't realise it was that bad. Bloody hell! Did dry January again this year for different reasons. I went to the doctor last summer, and I was feeling tired all the time, and he did some tests, and apparently I'm deficient. I'm deficient in vitamins B, D, folic acid, and omega-3. And he said, one, eat better, because I eat loads of trash, and also go to a pharmacy, get a supplement with all of these in, you'll start to feel better. So I went to Boots. The only supplement that has all of these in is pregnancy support. So I've been on pregnancy support for the last few months, and I tell you what, I feel like a pregnant woman. I sit down backwards onto chairs, I do that one, talk about myself the whole fucking time. I'm a pregnant woman. Sorry if you're preg, I'm going to be slagging you off now. It's just, I'm turning 30 this year, so many of my friends are having kids. I've got a text, actually, which you can use if you'd like. I'm so thrilled with it. If somebody's just had a baby, I'll text them, I'll say, are you sleeping? Because inevitably they won't be, and they go, oh no, I haven't slept for days, that kind of reply, nonsense. And then I'll go back, and I'm so thrilled with the wording of this, I go back and I say, it'll all be worth it when they're softly stroking your hair as you slip into oblivion. It's like Shakespeare, isn't it? Marvellous. Hello, Leon. So we're going to zoom in on people. Oh, lovely, look at that. Let's just have a test. Oh, yes. What are these guys? What's your names?
Tony.
Tony and?
Richard.
Tony and Richard. How do you know each other, Tony and Richard?
Partners.
Partners, okay. Well, we've got a lovely picture there. Smile for us. Very nice. That's going straight on Twitter when we finish the show. Find these men. Right, let's have a look at your tweets. There's some really funny ones. Really funny ones. Some people didn't really understand. Oh, love Zoe Ballbag from Fraser. That's good. Oh, where is Fraser? Actually, stand up, from Fraser C04. Where are you? Hello, Fraser. 103 followers. 104 now, I'm following you. And I will follow you home. You sent in Joe Likes Dick. Thanks, mate. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Just like it. I'm not in love with it. I like a dick. I like a dick. Thanks, Fraser. Round of applause for Fraser. Something wrong with Mel and Sue. Somebody's put Bell and Pooh. This one's really nice. Where's Dave Moore? Dave Moore. Tweet time, Dave? Where are you? You up top there as well? You only sent one in, Dave. You haven't given much information on your profile either. You got 92 followers. The last thing you did was retweet Jonathan Ross. This isn't a Jonathan Ross-based tweet. What'd you do, Dave? A finance analyst. Gosh, it's boring people up there, isn't it? Where'd you live, Dave? In Kent. Oh. Oh. Mixed response from the room for Kent. People down here not sure they like Kent. But then some other people over there love it. Hey, it takes all sorts, doesn't it? You sent in, Dave, Tess sucks off your dad daily. That's really nice. Really lovely work. Round of applause for Dave. Lovely stuff. Daily. Sucks off your dad daily. The real friction is on Twitter. Mum is also on Twitter. She is at Mama Lycett. You can follow her. She posts her paintings. She also searches not only my name, but searches what people are writing to me, what people are writing about me. So she will have seen all the tweets that you sent tonight. She loves reading them. She'll go through all of them. And she also sometimes will show me tweets when, like, I've been on telly. Every time you go on telly, there's a bit of nastiness. It comes with the job. There was one she showed me which I loved, which was, I'd just been on Blankety Blank with David Williams, which, to be fair, was dog shit. And I got a tweet which just said, "You're not funny." And I appreciated the succinctness of the tweet, but what I loved about it is I looked at the woman's profile who'd sent it, and she's a self-esteem coach. Maybe she's the self-esteem coach of a rival comedian. Maybe Ramesh was feeling down on his luck. I thought he'd bring me down. But this is something I'm getting used to, but like sometimes people will now tweet when they've seen me out and about, say they've seen me somewhere, they might take a picture, and that's fine, comes with the job. But sometimes I don't want mum to know where I've been. And this, the worst example for this, I said to her one morning, I said, I'm going to Manchester to see my friend Josephine, we're going to have a light lunch, and then I'm going to get the train back to Birmingham. Went to Manchester, got totally shit-faced with Josephine, had a pasty on the train on the way home, little pasty to soak up the alcohol. Got home, mum was like, oh, being healthy, are you? I was like, yeah. I mean, I had a couple of glasses of wine, but I had a salad at lunch. She was like, explain this. Somebody took a picture of me on the bloody train, didn't they? Really enjoyed that pasty, as you can see. Looks worryingly like that when you put it together as well. Could have been Prime Minister. Oh, I got her back, though, because I did a tweet. It wasn't actually about her, but she was offended by it anyway. The tweet was, to find out your dirty prostitute name, take your mother's surname and put her first name in front of it. 1,000 retweets, thank you, Twitter.